I've never had much time for conspiracy theorists. No answer will satisfy them because the conspiracy is everything. There is no photo, video, document or piece of scientific data that is good enough. It's all fake. So energy-sapping waste of time, and I don't bore them. But a while ago I had a discussion with the parents of a friend, and it turned out that they didn't believe that man had landed on the moon. I had recently read an article in New Scientist about a new non-destructive technique for analysing lunar regolith, the stuff they brought back from the moon. I don't recall how the conversation started, but it went along the lines of, "You will never convince me that man landed on the moon." What? No number of facts. "You will never convince me that man landed on the moon." No amount of data. "You will never convince me that man landed on the moon." No amount of video, photographs, physical matter, etc. "You will never convince me that man landed on the moon." When someone talks like this, you know there's no point. Their position is pretty close to a religion or a dogma. But what surprised me the most was that these weren't young people. Older than me, and I remember the moon landings. It got me thinking. One of the most common objections is, why don't they just point Hubble at the sites? Well, anyone who has made the smallest effort to find out will know the answer. All telescopes have their limitations, and their ability to resolve an object at distance depends on the diameter of the telescope's main mirror, which in the case of Hubble is 2.5 meters, the size of the object, and the distance of the object from the viewer. In practice, this means that at the distance of the moon, about 400,000 kilometers, the smallest object that the Hubble can image is about 200 meters, much larger than the descent stage of the lunar modules. So they can't resolve it into an image. Conspiracy theorists don't care though. Hubble is a magic space telescope that can pair from one end of the universe to the other. The fact that it is looking at really, really big objects doesn't occur to them. On June the 18th, 2009, NASA launched a spacecraft called the Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter, or LRO. The LRO orbits the moon pole to pole at an altitude above the moon's surface that varies from about 20 kilometers to 165 kilometers. The LRO carries with it various instruments, including a camera. It can image the surface of the moon with a resolution as high as 0.5 meters. And unlike Hubble, the LRO can and has imaged the landing sites of Apollo missions 11, 12, 14, 15, 16 and 17. We also have video from the lunar module ascent stages looking back towards the moon's surface at the landing sites. Apollo 15 blasted off from Earth on July the 26th, 1971, and explored the lunar surface between July the 30th and August the 2nd. This mission was noted amongst other things for being the first to carry and deploy the lunar roving vehicle, the LRV. This still is taken from a video taken from the ascent stage as it leaves the moon and offers us a pretty good view of much of the site, including the complex of crisscrossing tracks left in the lunar dust by the LRV and the craters they had to dodge around. Possibly some of them are from repeated footfall, it's hard to tell. But I'm going to focus on key features around the loops left by the LRV, the descent stage and the natural features on the moon. Look at these two images. The one on the left is a still taken from the ascent stage of Apollo 15. The one on the right is from the LRO. I've rotated the LRO image clockwise so that it is better aligned but not perfectly with the Apollo image. I've now marked out the most obvious lunar features, craters or groups of craters numbered 1 1 to 11. Look at them closely. There is a very close match between the two images. There are more, but why bother? Fingerprints may be matched on 12 to 20 points. We can see many more in these images. It would be hard to deny that they represent the same part of the lunar surface. In this case, I'm comparing man-made features at the Apollo 15 site. Just as much, if not more so, the features form a very distinctive pattern in the regolith. I've picked out just 7 of them, although it would be possible to pick out more had I the patience, or if I went to the effort of enhancing the images, or simply extracting the tracks from them. Note that some of the tracks are clearly made by the LRV, others I'm not so sure about. They may just be well-worn tracks left by the footfall of the astronauts. Starting from the bottom, we see a very distinctly shaped track, which matches very well in both images. Actually looks better in the Apollo image, but is quite distinct. Not particularly well worn, but clear in both images, moving right-left. Another very distinctive loop. Difficult to deny that it is the same loop in both images. This roughly trapezoidal structure is quite distinct. Lots of activity around the site of the ALSEP, the Apollo Lunar Surface Experiments package, as you'd expect. A very distinctive section of the image where the tracks divert around each side of a largely unweathered crater. So again, multiple points of similarity around the site between the two images, another set of data points for our fingerprint. It would be hard for any reasonable person to deny that the two images, one taken from the Apollo Ascent stage in 1971, the other from the LRO in 2012, represent the same part of the moon and they show the same signs of human activity. So does that mean that any hoaxer looking at the images will become convinced? Not a bit of it. For the hoaxer, NASA is a deeply untrustworthy organisation. They faked it once, they can fake it again. Possibly they will claim the images are just fabricated. They may even go as far as claiming that the LRO itself doesn't exist. And there is no way to counter this. One can claim that anything is fake. Hoaxers can constantly extend the conspiracy from the Apollo missions to the present day. Which is why you should never waste too much time on them. They aren't interested in what you say. They aren't interested in what is true. So why did I do this video? Purely out of interest. I wanted these questions answered for myself. I wanted to know how close we'd come to the landing sites, and the LRO is a wonderful bit of kit which provides a window on the frozen history of the Apollo missions. I just don't think it'll change many minds.
Fourth stage, engine arm pass in. 99 Pro. Good liftoff, automatic.